Welcome back to Cocktails and Crankshafts. In the previous installment, we talked a little bit about the hows and whys of autocross. Today, I'm going to talk more about the background stuff, the preparation, once you've decided that you're going to participate in an autocross. And you're going to have a couple of checklists, basically about three. So checklist number one, the car. You need to go through your car, and the club that you're going to race with, they should have a tech inspection form that they'll help you go through this, and these are things you need to prepare so that you can pass tech inspection once you get to the event. Number one, your battery needs to be secured, which means bolted down. My Z was used, and it did not come with a battery tied down. The first time I had to change the battery in the Z, I realized that the battery was just sitting there loose. So I went and bought a factory battery tie down, tie down is a misnomer. It's a set of bolts and J-hooks, and you bolt the battery down with a steel bracket. And in my case, because I have track day experience, I also got proper battery terminal covers for both the positive and negative terminals to make sure that there are no accidental shorts across the battery terminals. That is usually not required for an autocross, but it's something I like to do just because I picked that up as I was prepping my car for track day use. The next thing is your fluids. All your fluids need to be fresh. And what I mean is, I was taught that when you go to autocross for a weekend, your car should be prepped like you were going to go on a coast-to-coast drive, 3,000 miles. So fresh oil, fresh brake fluid, fresh power steering fluid, fresh engine coolant, and fresh fluid in either your clutch master cylinder, or if you have an automatic transmission, fresh automatic transmission fluid. I would not necessarily swap differential or transmission fluids, but if they haven't been changed in a long time, you might want to do that too. They should be fresh and fully topped up. The next thing is your tires. Your tires need to be structurally sound, and they need to be properly inflated. Now, for autocross use, you're going to inflate above the recommended street pressures for the tire, and that has to do with the contact patch and the high lateral loads caused by autocrossing, and making sure that you are driving on your tires and not on your sidewalls. And we'll talk more about that later. But the main thing is that the tires need to be structurally sound. No cords showing, no bent or deformed cords or obvious wobbles in the tire. With that, you need to tighten all your lug nuts to factory specifications, and you need to make sure that your wheel bearings do not have excessive play in them. And again, these are the things that they're going to check for when you get to the event and they tech inspect your car. So knowing ahead of time and making sure these things will pass is important. Otherwise, you also want to clean the interior of loose items. Now, things like floor mats and your spare tire and your emergency jack and all that, those items should be removed once you get to the autocross venue. But if you've got, spare cup holders, your kid's chew toy, your dog's chew toy, dog kennel in the back, whatever you got in the car that is not secured, that you don't need over the course of the autocross, you need to remove from the car so that there aren't any loose objects flying around, because you'll be doing a lot of really sharp lateral transitions and you don't want things flying around inside the car with you. With regard to floor mats, you also don't want the possibility of a floor mat getting stuck in your pedal as you're trying to accelerate or brake or whatever. Again, most people remove things like floor mats at the venue, not necessarily ahead of time. Next on the car list, your car classification and numbers and letters that would go on the side of your car. Your car must be identified by number and class, and some clubs have rules where they specify exactly how tall and wide the numbers need to be. Generically, you want them to be in a contrasting color so that they're easy to read, and you want them to be able to be read from 50 feet away and at 50 miles an hour, because that's what's going to happen. As you're going through the course, if you hit a cone, somebody with a radio is going to call that in, and they need to identify car number and car class correctly so that the penalties are assigned properly. If your car is steel, like most cars are, you can buy magnetic letters and numbers, or you can buy magnetic. I just have a number plate that has my class and numbers on it, and they're essentially permanent because I can't rearrange them. I just stick those to my doors and I'm good to go. If you are a car that changes classes or you have multiple drivers or some other situations, you can get individual letters and numbers, or some people use blue painter's tape. There are a lot of ways to mark your car. Just make sure that they're legible and that they're waterproof, or weatherproof, I should say. Checklist number 2, tools. Okay, this is where we can get into some sticky things depending on what level of preparation you are, how serious you are about autocrossing. I have a full set of tools. I've disassembled and reassembled several cars, so I have a full garage set of tools. I have everything down there except an air compressor. I even have air tools. I just don't have a compressor anymore. So when I say tools, at the very least, you want a way to torque and untorque your lug nuts, particularly if you're like I used to be and you have a set of dedicated autocross wheels and tires that you need to swap onto the car. But at the very least, you want a torque wrench and a socket that fits your car to make sure your lug nuts are properly torqued. Other things that are nice to have are an air tank, a portable air tank or small air compressor, a jack beyond the emergency jack that comes with the car. Sometimes it's nice to have a floor jack. It's a quick and easy way to lift your car if you need to change tires or whatever. You want a small toolkit where you can make emergency repairs on your car or somebody else's car if they need something. You never know when you might have to re-torque a brake fitting or something. So just having a small set of tools handy can be important, even if it's something as simple as changing or tightening a brake cable or something. Not a brake cable, I'm sorry, a battery cable. What else? Wheel chocks. If you're going to be jacking the car to change tires or whatever, you might want a set of chocks, or some people even bring a set of ramps to the event with them. It depends on how much space you have and how much stuff you have in your garage. Obviously, people that spend more time working on cars have more and better tools and the ability to carry more stuff with them. Checklist number 3, your people stuff. And here we can talk about your camera or your phone, batteries for cameras and phones, charging cords for cameras and phones, rain gear, whether that be an umbrella or a poncho or slickers or whatever, because if it's raining, you're still autocrossing. If it's raining hard, you're still autocrossing. Sunblock, a hat, a good sun hat, sunglasses, shades, gloves, and gloves can be a couple things. I like to drive in gloves, but I also like to wear gloves when I'm changing tires and whatnot. With this last event being a COVID event, I also had a couple of sets of latex gloves with me just in case for situations where I might have to touch a common surface, because out there was not a lot of water. There were some disinfecting wipes, but it's one of those places where you have to bring your own water with you, so it's not like we were washing our hands with soap and water every 3 seconds. That said, water. You want to bring water to drink. You want to bring snacks. You want to bring ice. You want to bring bug repellent, medications that you may need, a sun canopy or easy up tent, pop-up tent. Those are nice to have if they can fit in your car. I have one, but it does not fit in my Z. Folding chairs, again, nice to have if they fit in your car. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting in a hot car instead of sitting under a nice shady canopy. I think that covers it. And then you got sort of the miscellaneous. Depending on the distance of the event, you may want to stay in the hotel the night before, the night after. You want to locate your nearest gas stations, whether that be for fuel or air. And in my case, even though I have an air tank, you want, well, you're going to have to charge the tank. And like I said, I don't have a compressor at home anymore, so I'd have to go to a gas station to charge up my air tank anyway. But also, in my case, I like to get to the event and inflate my tires up to racing pressure once I'm there. So I always try to identify a nearby gas station and make sure that I have cash available for the air pump. That covers the basic list of things that you need to prep ahead of time or take with you to the autocross. The only things I would otherwise mention are reading the rules and understanding the rule book and classes, run groups, etc. And a lot of that will be explained when you get there, but a lot of those things can be found online, whether at the club level or the SCCA's national rule book. Whatever that case is, those are things that are nice to know before you get to the event. It's one thing to sit in a novice class and do the rookie walk and all that stuff. It's another thing to know what to expect fully beforehand and be prepared when you get there. So that's all we're going to cover for today. And again, if you like what I'm doing here and you'd like to know more, let me know in the comments if you have specific questions that you want me to answer, or I can talk to real experts, people who are better at this than me. I'm happy to do that. Just let me know again in the comments. And otherwise, thank you for listening, and we'll be back soon with new content. Bye. Thank you for watching Cocktails and Crankshafts. If you enjoy my content, please like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to hit the bell icon, and we'll see you soon with new content.